name's Dave, and this is Macaro my N-scale layout. Today we're going to do a little show and tell of all the 3D printing I've been doing the last week. Excuse me, of it, and some of it's been late, at least that's why I'm yawning. Anyway, we're going to get right to it. So, the first thing I'm going to show you is this water truck, and I'm going to switch to 7. There we go. And I think it should be in focus. I'm going to put it down, and I'm just going to go to the camera and make sure it is. Yeah, I think so. I think it's in focus. So this is a CAT water truck that they use in large open pit mines. And I've been searching for this model for about a year. I knew they existed, or the vehicle existed. I knew it existed, so I wasn't looking for something I didn't imaginary. And I finally found this, I believe, either on ArtStation or CG Trader. I think it was ArtStation. And it's an excellent little model. Has lots and lots of fine detail, which doesn't reproduce an N-scale. I think the model itself is quite large as an original, and I shrunk it to this size to match the dimensions of the vehicle in N-scale. So that's the first thing. And I just want to point out one thing about this. I have hunted for the right color for these vehicles. Now, I even went so far and went and to the CAT website, the actual manufacturer, and they sell a touch-up spray can of their color, and so I used that for the first couple of models that were on the layout. And let's just go back to, and the color is quite different to my eye than what's actually on the vehicles. It's also an enamel, which makes it really hard to paint over. The only way you can to paint over it is to use other enamels. Acrylics just wipe right off. They don't stay on it at all. And so I painted this one up. It's ready. It's already sitting on the layout on the line. But I did find the right color, and it's this one from Mission Models, color MMP 125, new construction yellow, 1990 to the present. So if you are doing modern construction vehicles or modern maintenance of way and you want the right yellow, this is the yellow to get. Now, I bought 3 bottles because I know I'm going to use this all over the place. I just didn't, so I didn't want to run out. And it's airbrush ready. You can just put it in your airbrush and spray right away. You don't have to thin it. You don't have to do anything with it. And it worked really well. And so this particular model still needs its tires and its undercarriage. Its tires need to be painted obviously black, and the undercarriage needs to be painted black. But I have to hand paint the tires. And what I do for that is, I don't know why I'm so yawning so much. Is I create a stencil to mask the center of the tires so it remains yellow, and then I will take a brush and hand paint the tires so that they end up looking like this one does. All right. So that was the first thing I printed this week. The second thing I printed this week was this. You know what? I'm going to grab a piece of paper or cardboard or something here. There we go. I'm going to put that up there for now. And so this is a switching tower for the yard, an old one that might not even be in use anymore in my particular yard, because I do have a file for a modern switching tower that I'm probably going to print this weekend coming. Anyway, this is 3D printed and laser cut. The girders upright are 3D printed. The roof is 3D printed, but the building itself is laser cut. And the reason is I could not for the life of me get this file to print the building. It would print all the other parts for this thing, but it would not print the building. It was warping, it was twisted. I think it's the way the file is designed, because it doesn't have a floor in it. It's just the 4 perimeter walls, and it just didn't work. So anyway, this is going on the layout at one end of the yard. I'm not sure which. And it's on a base right now because I'm going to put it down, glue it in place, and then I'm going to put in other terrain over top of this base, gravel and stuff. So that one was built this week as well. The next thing are these 50-ton gravel coal wagons that I 3D printed, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I have 12 of them, and so when they come off the printer, they look like this. They're this white. And what I do is I clean them up, sand them, fix the sides and stuff that need to be fixed. Then I take a pin vise, and they do have a hole in them for the bogies, but they're not. The hole is not big enough, so you have to drill it out. And I'm drilling it out with a metric drill, and I think I have discovered that this is actually not a metric hole, because it is a little. So I just drill it out. I'm just going to do one here for you quickly. And we'll drill out the other one. Now I did this. I have a small battery-powered Dremel drill that I use most of the time to do things like this, but I found, because you have to be careful drilling on these things, that you can make a big mistake with the power drill. So now I have some bogies here. I have 2 pins. And so here we go. This is dead simple. The biggest thing to remember is to put the pin in the right side of the bogey, because otherwise it doesn't go on. Now, hold on. I gotta move my glasses out of the way so I can see close up. I only need to see far away. There we go. Okay, so that's in there like that. Take the model, take the pin, and put it in place. Just like that. Now if it's really loose and comes out easily, because the hole is drilled all the way through, I can put just the tiniest drop of CA down there, and it catches the tip of that pin and holds it in place and still allows the bogey to rotate. So that was the next thing I did, and I've got 4 sitting over here that are ready to go. And so what I'm going to have eventually is a unit train of 12 of these at the quarry on the layout, so that it's there. The next thing's not that exciting, but we'll show it to you anyway. I printed a bunch of jersey barriers, the concrete barrier, the portable concrete batteries, barriers that are on highways. So I printed some long ones, some right angle ones, and some tiny ones. And these are going to go, some are going to go in the mine, and a majority of them are probably going to end up on the refinery. All right. Maybe switch to 6, just for a minute. Preview 6. Let's go there. So you can Oops. Well, we'll use it. We'll use 6 in a minute for that as well. But you can see that the jersey barriers are they're a simple little barrier. Again, this was on Thingiverse on the web, and it was a package like this, and I went ahead and printed those out this week. Next, I'm going to go back to 7. Next, we have some dumpsters, 2 dumpsters. Again, 3D printed in resin. These were printed in resin. And then one of the big roll-off garbage bins that you see in big construction sites. This particular roll-off one is going to go by the abandoned building that I built several weeks back. So that was the next thing I printed. And let's move on. All right, now here comes the big stuff. Months and months ago, I backed a Kickstarter of model buildings for what do they, miniature wargaming, like Warhammer and all of those other things, and the whole campaign was a set of buildings of a downtown, an old downtown building set. And so I went ahead and started to print these out. So these are, I'll show you what they look like in their raw state when they're printed out. And then here's the building. Now they do need a little bit of cleanup. My printer is doing what we call in the 3D world stringing. And it's got all these little fibers, tiny little hairs on the building itself. But they're very easy to get rid of. You take a knife and scrape, and they disappear. So that's what they look like when they come off the build plate of my new 3D printer. This is what they look like when they've been given a coat of brown primer. So they're quite impressive, actually. And some of the buildings, most of the buildings are the files are like this. There's a separate front, a separate roof, and a separate back body to the building. But 1 or 2 of them are complete buildings, and so this is a complete building that I have painted brown again, and this building is designed to have a building up against it on one side and a building up against it on the other side. So what's going to happen here is this building is going to sit flush up against it here. Maybe we should turn it this way. I'll turn it this way so you can see it. And this building is going to sit up against it here. This is the roof for this building. And I've decided I'm not printing the sides or the back of this building. All of these are going to be at the back of the layout part of the town. So they'll all be right at the back of the building. So I'm going to get some styrene and make 2 styrene sides that fit this. And all I'm going to do is put the roof on, or not that roof, this roof, like this. And then just have 2 fairly thick styrene sides here that will act as the concrete wall on the sides. And there are 21 buildings in the Kickstarter, and if I can find a link to it, I will put it in the description below. Okay. Now, there's just one more thing to show you, and then we'll call it quits for today. And I don't know if I showed you these before. Anyway, These are bumpers for the end of the track. They are code 50 N scale buffers. They have track attached to them, and if you're careful with the knife, you can slice off the first tie that's here and actually put a rail joiner on it, and it works. And so I've got a lot of areas in the yard where there are where these need to go. So I've been printing other things, and I still have space left on the build plate. I've been printing these out. So here's another 4 of these. So you probably have guessed over the course of watching my videos that I am a big fan of 3D printing, and it can be frustrating at times, but I think that if you think about the cost of one of these gondolas, or coal gondola thingies. I'm not good with terminology, if you haven't guessed that already. But one of these is probably $30 or $40. What's 12 times 40? You know, that's a lot of money. And you can probably buy a single smaller, you don't have to have a big printer like I do. You could buy a smaller resin 3D printer for the cost of just this unit train. With the printing out the unit train. I forgot something. Now, the biggest problem with printing rolling stock in N scale is the fact that they almost weigh nothing. And so what I do is I use, let me find my knife here. I'm just going to open this bag. I have a tiny little scale somewhere. I think it's over by my main desktop computer where I do all my designing and stuff, over on the other side of the room. I take fishing weights. I put the car on the scale, and then I put fishing weights inside it to give the car some weight. Once I've done that, all of these are going to get filled with gravel of some kind. Now, I've got lots and lots of different kinds of gravels. As you may know, I buy them from the dollar store, and they're great. And you can grind them down as fine as you want, or you can leave them the size they are. I think I'm going to leave them the size they are, but I'm going to fill all of these as well. So this train will have a load in it, it will have the weights in it, and it will be will run fairly easy. Well, as you can see, they do run beautifully. So I've got, like I said, I've got 4 here already. And this one makes 5. And I'm just going to take another pin here and put it in here. There we go. So now we have 5. I've got 2, 4, 5, 6, and I've got 7 here. Now, for some reason or another, I'm going to have trouble with this car. It's got, they put, I must have had 2 different files. They put a piece inside it so that it has some weight itself, and then you could put gravel and stuff over it, and you wouldn't be wasting as much gravel. So as you can see, I've spent my last week 3D printing and 3D printing and 3D printing and stopping the printer because it didn't work, and then redoing it and over and over again. So I want to thank you for watching today. Like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribing is free, and if you're in the bell, you'll get notified that I put out a new video. I think this will be either my 97th or 98th video, And for the 100th, I'm going to clean up the layout. I'm going to put my rolling stock all over the place on it, and I will give you a tour of where the layout has been for 100 weeks, because that's what it is. It's one a week, and it'll be 100 weeks with that 100th episode. So again, thank you for watching. Take care of yourself, take care of your family, and remember, as always, it's your railroad and you can build it any way you want. Thanks again, and I'll see you next week.